So in the last session, just we covered about easier relationship, which is also known as inheritance concept. There are several important loopholes we covered already that are part of easy. So the next relationship what we have to discuss has a relationship. It is also very important concept for the interview room sake. Compulsory you people should have clear clarity about has a relationship, right? Okay, so what is has a and what is the purpose of has a relationship? What is the advantage of has a relationship? These are things we have to talk. Just observe, is a, has a, which is a commonly used relation. Is a relation or has a relation? Most of the people are going to feel has a relationship. Of course, is a relationship is the most commonly used relationship. No. The very commonly used relationship is has a relation only, but unfortunately we don't know, so we are using has a relationship. Are getting the point, right? Okay, this we don't know it is has a relationship, unfortunately, but we are using, so most commonly used relationship is has a only, but not is a. Best example, even in our last classes several times we had this type of example: class student string name. Class student string name. What is the relation between student and the name? Student has a name. Are you getting? Student has a name. Student has roll number. Is nothing but like student has roll number. Is it a relation or has a relation? Has a relationship, but we don't know. We are using has a relationship actually, but the commonly used relationship is nothing but what? Has a relationship only. Is it clear for all of you? Look at this. Now, so first observe what is the advantage of has a relationship? Very simple. Suppose I want to build one car. We have several cars are there. Honda City is there, Innova is there. Like there are several cars are there. So if you want to build a car, there are n number of components are required. Correct or not? I want to build a car is nothing but there are n number of components are required. Best example, sir. Okay, don't feel each and every component of this car from the same vendor. Suppose a Honda City car is there. Don't feel every part of Honda City car is from Honda City company only. No. So they will take wheels, tires from somewhere. Engine maybe from Honda City. Next there are some individual parts from different vendors. But what Honda City people are going to do is they will build or they will compose. Look at this, with all these things they will create one car object and they will release into the market. Is it clear for all of you? Look at this. So is nothing but this type of thing, sir, with several individual components. Can you please build is nothing but like this type of thing is nothing but composition or aggregation. Are you getting? Composition or aggregation. First point here is, let me here for every car engine functionality is required. Correct or not? Engine must be required for every car. What I will do, let me write the engine class separately. Class engine, within the engine specific functionality. Engine specific functionality. Let me write class engine specific functionality. Okay, let me write. Wherever this engine functionality is required, create an object and call this functionality. Happily by default this functionality is available everywhere wherever engine is required. Are you getting? We are not required to redefine this functionality there. Best example, class car. So car required engine functionality. What I will do is create engine object. Sir, engine is equal to new engine. Engine is equal to new engine. Automatically by using this E we can make this functionality available. Correct or not? Now can you tell what is the relation between car and engine? Can I spell out what is the relation? Has a car has a engine reference. Are you getting that? Okay, this so car has a engine reference. Car has a engine reference is nothing but like you should aware. Are you getting the point? Okay, this so class car has engine reference is nothing but like, so the relation between car and engine is has a relation, right? Are you able to understand? Sir, wherever engine functionality is required, create an object, automatically this engine functionality is available there. We can call this functionality by using this E. We are not required to redefine this functionality, right? This type of relationship is nothing but what? Composition, right? Are you able to understand? Or has a relationship. So the first point about has a relationship, and I just observe the point well. The first point about has a relationship is, it is also known as composition or aggregation. It's also known as what? Composition or aggregation. Sir, we are composing a car with several individual objects. Has a relationship is also known as composition or aggregation. Point number 1. Second, what is the, by using which keyword we can implement has a relation? There is no specific keyword to implement has a. If it is the instance method, create an object and you can make this functionality available. If it is a static method, even object also not required. Is nothing more, there is no specific keyword. There is no specific keyword to implement has a relationship, but most of the times we are depending on new operator, right? Most of the time, create an object, automatically by using this object you can make this functionality available. That's why. Okay. Next, the third one. Sir, can you tell what is the biggest advantage of has a relationship? What is the advantage of has a relationship? The biggest advantage here is write the engine functionality once. Yes, I am writing one. Wherever this engine functionality is required, happily create an object and call that functionality. What is this concept? Write once and use anywhere is nothing but reusability. Are you getting? The biggest advantage of has a relationship is also reusability only. Is it clear for all of you that? Okay, this so this is nothing but what is has a relationship. So the most commonly used relation when compared with easier is has a only, but we don't know, so we are using has a relationship. Now I hope the terminology is clear for you. So has a relationship is also known as composition or aggregation. Next, by using which keyword we can implement as a? No specific keyword, but most of the times we are going to use new operator, right? Next, and after that, the biggest advantage of as a relationship is code reusability. Clear for all of you, right? Okay, at this point. Yeah, first point. Yeah, has a relationship. First point. Has a relationship is also known as has a relationship is also known as composition or aggregation. Has a relationship is also known as composition or aggregation. Has a relationship is also known as composition or aggregation. Composition or aggregation. Next, second point. There is no specific keyword. There is no specific keyword to implement has a relation. There is no specific keyword to implement has a relation. To implement has a relation. There is no specific keyword to implement has a relation. But most of the times, we are depending on. New keyword. But most of the times we are depending on new keyword. Most of the times we are depending on new keyword. Next, the third point. The main advantage of has a relationship is the main advantage of has a relationship is reusability of the code. The main advantage of has a relationship is reusability of the code. That's all. Are you able to understand that? Okay, this is so what is has a relationship, by using which keyword we can implement, what is the advantage, right? Example, just spell out example. Class car, better to take both classes. Class car class car. Engine E is equal to new engine. Engine E is equal to new engine. Class car, engine E is equal to new engine. Car has a engine reference. 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 Engine reference. That's all. Completed, right? Car has a engine reference. Okay. So make sure you people should have clarity about this terminology, right? Okay. So car has a engine reference. Okay, that's all. So what is the relation between car and the engine? What is the relation between car and engine? Has a relationship, right? Has a relationship. Okay. So then, very important point, especially for the interview room, make sure you should aware. So I told for our CJP exam, up to this is enough. It's also known as composition, aggregation. What the advantage, which keyword, like I told. Then, so some student came, or some student went to the interview room. Then interview person asked, can you please explain about easy and has a relationship like? Then immediately this person told, easy relationship is inheritance concept, as a is nothing but like, has a relationship is also known as composition or aggregation. Whatever I explain on the board, the same thing he explained in the interview room. Then interview person asked, sir, what is the difference between composition and aggregation? What is the difference? The difference between composition and aggregation like? Then this person told, sir, both are same, both are has a relationship only. Regarding both are same, both are has a relationship only. There is no difference at all, like that person told. Then immediately interview person told, because mostly this person explained all the questions, but at last what the difference between composition and aggregation? Sir, both are same, both are has a, very strongly this person told. Then interview person got a bit negative feeling. Can you please go? Okay, this is like that person. He came directly, sir, you told composition and aggregation is nothing but as a. Is there any difference between these two things, sir? Like in the interview room, today he rejected my answer. So can you tell any difference between composition or aggregation, like he told? Then, so very important, both are has a. Both are as a. Composition is has a relation. Aggregation is has a relation. But there is a small minor difference is there between composition and aggregation. Very important for the interview room. One student missed the job just because of lack of this one. What is the difference between composition and aggregation? Both are as a. What that difference? Keep submitting. Difference between composition, difference between composition and the aggregation. Difference between composition and the aggregation. Difference between composition and aggregation. Okay. So just observe what is the difference. Here just have a look once. Suppose I have one. Here just observe. I have one university is there. I have one university. University is there. Within the university, there are several departments will be there. Correct or not? University. Within that there are several departments are there. You know, computer science department, next ECE department, any other? EEE department, MECA department, okay, several. Okay. Do you know what is the relation between university and the department? What is the relation between university and the department? University has a department. University has a department like. Suppose university, which is also known as, okay, container object. And a university is nothing but container object. Within the university, which things are there? Several departments are there. These department objects are called contained objects. Department objects are called what? Contained objects, right? Now my question is, suppose tomorrow this university involved in some illegal activity. Regarding some illegal activity, this university got involved. Government decided to close this university. If the university is going to be closed, automatically all departments will be closed or not? Yes. So because department is the part of university, if university is going to be closed, automatically departments will be closed. Without existing university, there is no chance of existing department. Correct ata? Without existing container object, if there is no chance of existing contained object, are you getting? Without existing container object, if there is no chance of existing contained object, then container and the contained objects are strongly associated. This strong association is nothing but composition, right? Are you able to understand? Okay, this is, sir, without existing university, there is no chance of existing department. That's why university and the department both are strongly associated. This strong association is nothing but composition, right? Okay, this is, I hope the terminology is the very clear. So what is composition? Make sure you people should aware. Strong association between objects is nothing but what? Composition, right? Now the terminology is clear. But what is aggregation? Aggregation is a weak association. That part I will explain first at this point. Without existing container object, without existing container object, without existing container object, if there is no chance of existing, if there is no chance of existing contained objects, if there is no chance of existing contained objects, if there is no chance of existing contained objects, then container and contained objects are, then container and contained objects are, then container and contained objects are, container and contained objects are strongly associated, strongly associated, strongly associated, strongly associated. Under this strong association, under this strong association, under this strong association is nothing but, under this strong association is nothing but, this strong association is nothing but, this strong association is nothing but composition, composition. This strong association is nothing but composition, composition. Example, at the theory first. Example, don't take this diagram. At the theory, university consists of several departments. 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 Without existing university, there is no chance of existing, department. Without existing university, there is no chance of existing department. There is no chance of existing department. Hence, university and the department are, university and the department are strongly associated. University and the department are strongly associated. Under this strong association, is nothing but, under this strong association is nothing but composition. Under this strong association is nothing but composition. Okay, that's all. Take this diagram. University, within that several departments are there. Take clearly. University, CSE department, ECE department, EEE department, MEC, civil, like dot. Next, this one is university. So container object, contained objects and container object. like both possibilities are there. Container object and contained object, like, can I complete it right? Make sure you people should aware clearly, right? So this is nothing but what? Composition. Next part. Clear for all of you, right? Okay, this next one. Keep subheading. Second part, aggregation. Aggregation. Second one, aggregation. Something like aggregation. Okay, just legend this one. Sir, I have one department is there. I have one department is there. Sir, this is the department object. Department is there. Within this department, there may be a chance of several professors will work. Within a department, there are some faculty members are there, professors are there. So he is the professor 1. Here say this one. He is the professor 1. Okay, he is the professor 2. Professor 2 ... He is the professor N. N number of professors are working within this department. Now first professor is nothing but like, second professor like ... Nth professor is nothing but like we have several professors are working within the department, right? Suppose tomorrow the government decided to close this department. Best example, so IT department. Now the people are not joining in the IT. Most of the colleges closed the IT department, right? Or MCA department. Olden days MCA department is a very popular, very famous department. But now MCA is nothing but gone. Okay, MCA department, government or that college, that university decided to close that department. If the department is going to be closed, automatically all professors will be closed. No, what the university can do is, so the university can transfer these professors to another department. Are you getting? Department won't be there, but the corresponding professors there. Okay, there university may transfer these people to computer science department, or otherwise university can release these professors so that they will join in some other university in some department. Is there nothing but like, without existing department object, is there any chance of existing professor or not? Yes. Okay, this is so without existing container object, there may be a chance of existing contained objects. Then the container and contained objects are weakly associated, and that weak association is nothing but aggregation, right? Are you getting? So in composition, objects are strongly associated, but in aggregation, objects are weakly associated. Observe this one, sir. Without existing department, there may be a chance of existing professors. If the department got closed, no problem. These professors can work in other department or in other university, right? Okay, this type of relationship is nothing but what? Aggregation, right? Sir, department is nothing but which object? Container object. And professor, this one is nothing but which object? Contained object. Container object and contained object, right? I hope terminology is very clear for you. Okay, at this point, without existing, keep subheading first, aggregation. Under aggregation you have to write aggregation. Without existing container object, without existing container object, if there is a chance of existing, contained object, if there is a chance of existing contained object, without existing container object, if there is a chance of existing contained object, then container and contained objects are container and contained objects are weakly associated. Weakly associated. Container and contained objects are weakly associated. Under this weak association is nothing but aggregation. Under this weak association is nothing but aggregation. Under this weak association is nothing but aggregation. Example. At the theory first. Department consists of several professors. Department consists of several professors. Department consists of several professors or contains several professors. Okay. Without existing department, there may be a chance of existing professor objects. There may be a chance of existing professor objects. Hence, department and professor objects are weakly associated. Department and professor objects are weakly associated. Under this weak association is nothing but aggregation. Okay, take this diagram. Department, within the department there may be a chance of several professors can work. Within the department may be a chance P1, P2, Pn like. P1, P2, Pn, container object and their contained object. Container object and contained object. Completed, right? I hope it's clear for all of you, right? So now the terminology is very clear for you. Container object and contained objects, right? Now take a note. Just observe, in composition objects are strongly associated or weakly associated? Strongly associated. In aggregation objects are strongly associated or weakly associated? Weakly associated, right? Add note first one. In composition objects are strongly associated. In composition objects are strongly associated. Whereas in aggregation objects are weakly associated. Okay, first one. Second point, take a bit special care. Analogy. In composition, where the contained objects are there within the container, are getting within the container, contained objects are directly there. But in aggregation, where the contained object here, just the container object hold the reference. Are getting here, professor won't stay within the department, he may stay anywhere, okay, but he can provide service to this department, something like. So in aggregation, container object just hold the reference of container object, but in aggregation, but in composition, container object hold directly the contained object. Have you observed the difference, right? Sir, department should be there within the university only, but a professor so can provide service is nothing but even from outside also. After completing his classes, then he may go out is nothing but like, or otherwise same person can work in this department, can work in some other department also. Are you getting that? Okay, this it is so container object just hold references of contained object, but container object hold directly contained objects. Have you observed the difference, right? Okay, take a note. Second, in composition, container object, in composition container object, in composition container object holds, container object holds directly, container object holds directly contained objects, contained objects, container object holds directly contained objects, contained objects. Next up, whereas in aggregation, container object, whereas in aggregation container object holds, container object holds just references of, container object holds just references of, container object holds just references of contained objects, just holds references of contained objects, contained objects, just hold references of contained objects. That's all. Are you getting? Okay. So this is what is composition, aggregation, what is the difference, right? If any person in the interview room is asking what is the difference between composition and aggregation, I hope you people should be in a position to answer. Okay, that's all. Next, there is one more small clarity. Let me provide. Sir, can you tell what is the purpose of easier relationship? What is the main purpose of easier relationship? Yeah. So reusability of the code. What is the main purpose of Hazier relationship? Reusability only. Sir, when we should go for easier and when we should go for Hazier? Are you getting? Sir, when we should go for easier relation, when we should go for Hazier relation, just observe. Sir, if the total functionality is required, sir, total functionality must be required for me. Total functionality must be required for me. So in the child, just observe this one. Whatever functionality available with the person, assume that person class is there. This total person class functionality must be required, okay, for a student class. Correct or not? And a person class functionality is a part of student class. Are you getting? Then we should go for easier relationship. Are you getting? Easier relationship. Okay. Sir, if total functionality is required, boss, automatically I want total functionality, then we can go for what? Easier relation. So can you tell student is a person? Correct or not? So total person functionality by default available to the student. Then we should go for what? Easier relation, right? Sir, I may not total functionality. Suppose, so some X class, test class is there. Test class contain 100 methods are there. 100 methods are there. Sir, I may require 1 method or 2 methods based on my requirement. I may not require 100 methods. Then what I will do in my demo class, create a test object. tester t is equal to new tester, and whatever the methods you required is nothing but, sir, m1 is required, t dot m1, sir, m7 is required, m7, that's all. Are you getting? If, sir, total functionality is not required, only based on my requirement I may use one or two methods, or based on my requirement I may use part of the functionality, then we should go for which relation, Anna? Has a relation, right? Are you able to understand? If for total functionality of a class, if you want, yes, by default I want total functionality, this functionality is the part of my requirement, then we should go for what? Is a relation, right? Sir, I don't want total functionality, just maybe based on my requirement I may call two methods or three methods, right? If you want part of the functionality, then we should go for which concept, Anna? Has a relationship, right? Are you able to understand? When we should go for is a, when we should go for has a. But write once, use anywhere, reusability only. Write once, use for every child, reusability only. Both concepts will work only for usability, but small minor difference you people should aware clearly, right? Okay, keep submitting. Is a versus has a. Is a versus has a. Is a versus has a. Has a. Okay, get the point. If we want total functionality, if we want the total functionality of a class, if we want the total functionality of a class, automatically, if we want the total functionality of a class automatically, then we should go for easier relation, then we should go for easier relationship, easier relationship. Okay, so example, take this diagram directly. Person class functionality, total functionality required for student class. That's why, what is the relation between person and student? Easier relationship. Complete functionality of person class required for student class. Complete functionality of the person class required for student class. Completed, I hope. So what is this one? Easier relationship. Clear, right? Okay. Next one. So here just next point or next para add. If we want part of the functionality, if we want part of the functionality, if we want part of the functionality, then we should go for, if we want part of the functionality, then we should go for part of the functionality, then we should go for then we should go for what? Has a relationship. Okay, example, add test. So test class contain 100 methods are there. Test class contain 100 methods are there, but within the demo class I required one or two methods. That's why create an object of test and call the required methods, but not total methods. If you want total functionality, automatically easier relation. If you want a specific functionality, only one or two methods, then better to go for has a relationship. So is a versus has a. Completed, I hope. Okay, that's all. This is about is a and has a relationship. Is a and has a relationship. Okay, that's all. Now next topic, next subtopic, very important. So before starting the next major concept, overloading and overriding, there is one concept what I have to talk in detail. There is one concept So because repeatedly we are going to use this word in the next, I mean in the overloading, overriding, one word we are going to use, method signature. Method signature. Sir, in overloading, method signature must be different. In overriding, method signature must be same. So every time I am using method signature like in the next overloading and overriding. So first you should have clear clarity. What is method signature? Keep subheading first. Method signature. Method signature. Okay. Now just observe what is method signature like. You are saying, sir, I am taking, I have public. Sir, legend this one, public method. Static method is there, public static. Int is there, M1 method of int I, comma, float f. Sir, this is the method I have. Can you tell what is the signature of this method? Sir, don't tell signature of this method is nothing but this one only. No. Okay. This total thing is method declaration. Are you getting? Here modifiers are there, return type is there, method name is there, arguments are there. Among all, which is considered as method signature or which things are part of method signature? Just observe. Method signature contains only method name, followed by argument types. Sir, argument types are int, comma, float. Int, comma, float. Are you getting? Argument types, that's all. So first argument is what type? Int type. Second argument is what type? Float type. That's all. So method signature consists of method name followed by argument types. Is it clear? Sir, return type not part of method signature, but in C or C++, return type is also part of method signature, but in Java, return type is not part of method signature. Modifiers not part of method signature. Are you getting that? Okay, this is. So in Java, method signature consists of method name followed by argument types. Okay, this is add. In Java, method signature consists of method signature consists of method names. Method signature consists of method names followed by method signature consists of method names followed by argument types. Method names followed by argument types. Method names followed by argument types. Okay, add this example. Public static int m1 of int I, comma, float f. Public static int m1 of int I, comma, float f. So what is this one? M1 of int, comma, float. M1 of int, comma, float. M1 of int, comma, float. Completed, right? Okay. Next, one more point. Add. Sir, can you tell return type is a part of method signature? No, return type is not part of method signature in Java. Add. Return type is not part of method signature in Java. Return type is not part of method signature in Java. Return type is not part of method signature in Java. Okay, like so. I hope up to this it is very clear what is the meaning of method signature. Okay, now the next point here is observe. Sir, okay, well, now the next terminology, who is going to use method signature? Regarding where the method signature is going to be used? Simple, just observe this example well. Sir, I have one class test. Sir, public void m1 method int I is there. Public void m1 int I is there. Next, public void m2 m2 method of, okay, string s is there. m2 method of string s is there. Sir, how many methods are there in my test class? 2 method. First method is nothing but what? m1 of int. Second method m2 of string. For every class, compiler is going to maintain one method table for every class. So method table, compiler is going to maintain method table. This method table for which class? For class test. For class test. Within this table, which things will be there is nothing but, so method signatures are there. m1 of int. What is the second method? m2 of what type? String type. m2 of string. Like this we have 2 methods are there. Now my target is, sir, let me create one test object. Test t is equal to new test. And I take a bit special care. Test t is equal to new test. T dot m1 of 10. Immediately, do you know how the compiler is going to analyze? This what is the very important. Sir, you are calling m1 by passing which type as the argument? Int type. 10 is what type? Int type. You are calling m1 on t. T is what type? Ayo, t is what type? Test type. In the test class, is there any m1 method? In the test class, is there any m1 method which can take int type as the argument or not? It is going to check in a method table. Yes, there is one m1 method which can take int type as the argument. Oh, no problem at all. It is a valid method call, like it is going to valid. Now I am taking t dot m2 of Durga. T dot m2 of Durga. Sir, here I will check. Immediately compiler will check. You are calling m2 with the string type on t. T is what type? Ayo, t is what type? Test type. Now in the test class method table, is there any m2 method which can take string as the argument? Yes, that's why no problem. Legal method call only, the code compiles fine. Now observe. T dot m3 by passing 10.5. Now observe. Sir, you are calling m3 method by passing which one as the argument? Double 10.5 by default double type. Double on t. T is what type? Test type. Immediately my compiler will check in the test class method table. Is there any m3 method which can take double as the argument? No. So compiler aware, programmer doing some mistakes, syntactical mistake. That's why immediately compile time error by default we are going to get. Can you please tell what exact compile time error? Cannot find symbol. Cannot find symbol. Which symbol? Cannot find symbol. Which symbol? Method m3 of double. Method m3 of double. In which location? Okay. Class test. In which location is anathema? Class test. Like a comparative method we are going to get. Do you know which symbol? Method m3 of double. Sir, what is this one? Method signature. Sir, in test class there is no method with this signature. Then how I can compile this code? You are doing some mistake. Correct that mistake, then only I can compile. Have you observed how compiler is going to use this method signature? Right? So who is going to use method signature? Compiler will use method signature. When the compiler will use method signature? While invoking methods. Are you getting? At the time of method call resolution, compiler will check. Compiler will use method signature. Right? Are you getting? Okay. At this point, compiler will use method signature. Compiler will use method signature. Method signature to resolve. Compiler will use method signature to resolve method calls. Compiler will use method signature to resolve method calls. Okay. Take this example total thing. Take clearly, including compile time error also. Completed, right? Cannot find the symbol. Which is symbol? Method M3 of double location class test. So what is method signature? And compulsory you people should have clear clarity. Who is going to use method signature? Compiler will use a method signature to resolve method calls, or while resolving method calls like. Completed, I hope. Compiler will use a method signature while resolving method calls like. I hope is clear, right? Next, there is one important conclusion I have to talk related to this method signature. What is that? That important point here is just observe. Sir, I am taking one class test. Listen this one. Sir, I am taking class test. Here, public void m1 method. Public void m1 method of int I. Like I am taking public void m1 of int I. Next, public int m1. Public int m1 of int I or int j or int x return sum 10. Return sum 10. Can you tell, is it valid or invalid? Ayo, is it valid or invalid? Yes, here just observe. If I am taking like this, compiler will give left and right. What is the reason? Why this one is invalid? Or what is the reason for that? Simple. Sir, what is the signature of this method? First method, m1 of int. That's all. Can you tell what is the signature of second method? m1 of int. m1 of int. Suppose tomorrow, if I am creating test object, test t is equal to new test. Test t is equal to new test. So I am calling t dot m1 of 10. Sir, which method has to respond? Either first one or second one? No, it's always a problem, ambiguity problem. Sir, which method? That's why there may be a chance of ambiguity problem. That's why compiler is going to object. Hey Durga, m1 of int already declared. Why you are redefining once again? Are you getting? That's why within a class, two methods with the same signature. Two methods with the same signature not allowed. By mistake, if you are trying to take, immediately compile time error saying, here observe, immediately compile time error saying m1 of int is already defined, m1 of int is already defined in test. m1 of int is already defined in test, like a compile time error by default we are going to get. Clear for all of you, right? So important conclusion related to method signature is, within a class, two methods with the same signature not allowed, even though return types are different. Have you observed? Void here but int here, even though return types are different, or one method is the normal, the other method is the static, no problem. So two methods with the same signature not allowed. By mistake, if you are trying to take two methods with the same signature, compile time error you are going to get. Clear for all of you, right? Okay, this at this point, within a class, two methods with the same signature. Within a class, two methods with the same signature. Two methods with the same signature. Same signature not allowed. Within a class, two methods with the same signature not allowed. Okay. Just observe this one. Sir, I want to take here. Just observe. Sir, I am taking first method. Can I spell out what the first method? Public void of method signature, or even void here but integer is nothing but like return type is not part of method signature. That's why compiler is ready to give left and right. Here see, compile the method by default we are going to get. Okay, what that compile the method is. Okay, test.java like. Now let me compile this code. Sir, Java say test.java. Have you observed the compile method? Say this one. M1 of int is already defined in test. Sir, can you tell what it is M1 of int? What it is M1 of int? M1 of int is nothing but what? Method signature. Clear for all of you? Okay, at this point. You have to take this example first. Class test. Public void M1 of int. M1 of int I. So its method signature is M1 of int. Public int M1 of int x. Its method signature is also M1 of int only. Now M1 of int is already defined in test. Is already defined in test. Completed, I hope. M1 of int is already defined in test, like we have. Clear for all of you, right? At that compile method. Okay, now the next point, take special care about the next terminology, right? So that's all. This is about what is method signature. Are you getting? Because I have to use these words in overloading, overriding repeatedly. First you should aware what is the method signature. Clear for all of you? Next, keep submitting. The next major concept. What is the next major concept? Overloading. Next major concept, overloading. Sir, can you tell when we say that two methods are said to be overloaded? These two methods are overloaded. When we say that two methods are said to be overloaded, both methods having same name, but different argument types. Okay, do you know? M1 of int I, M1 of int I, M1 of, so double T. Can I use this word, right? Both are overloaded or not? Yes. So very important bit for the entire room. So very important. Sir, when we say that two methods are overloaded, or what is method overloading? So two methods having the same name, but different argument types is the concept of method overloading. Okay, at this point, two methods are said to be overloaded. Two methods are said to be overloaded if and only if. Two methods are said to be overloaded if and only if both methods having same name, same name, but different argument types. Both methods having same name but different argument types. Both methods having same name but different argument types. Argument types. Okay, like. So now take very carefully about this terminology, right? Sir, both methods having the same name but different argument types is the concept of method overloading. Sir, in C language, see, overloading is there or not? C language, whether overloading is there? Not there in C. Now observe, suppose I have one method is there, just normal, forget about C, ABS method is there. Can you tell what the purpose of ABS method? Absolute value. Are you getting? ABS is nothing but what? Absolute value. Sir, I am taking ABS of 10.5. What is the answer? 10 or 11? ABS of 10.5. What is the answer? 10 or 11? Ayyo, you don't know about absolute value, it seems. So, okay, the answer is ABS of 10.5. The answer is, what is the answer? 10 or 11? Either 10 or 11? Make sure. Okay, well, ABS of minus 10.5. What is the answer? Minus 10 or minus 11? Okay, make sure. ABS of 10.5, ABS of minus 10.5. In both cases, the answer is a 10.5 only. Array, absolute value means not a round operation, not floor operation or seal operation. Absolute value. Consider only value, don't consider sign. Are you getting? Whether it is a positive or negative, forget about sign. Consider only value. Is nothing but absolute value, right? Are you getting? So in Java, anyway, absolute value, ABS function is there. Even in the C language also, ABS function is there. So ABS function, which is available in the C, must be applicable only for int type. Are you getting? Only for int type. Sir, if you want to find absolute value of 10, okay, no problem, acceptable, right? ABS of 10. But sir, I want to find absolute value for long. Okay, now, so for long type I want to find long L. In C, two methods having the same name, but different argument types are not allowed, because overloading is not there in C. If there is a change in argument type, compulsory we should go for new method name, LABS. Are you getting? LABS is the method name for long data type. So if you want to find absolute value of long, LABS of 10L. Are you getting something like? Sir, if you want to find absolute value for float type, float argument, then FABS, okay, FABS of 10.5, F I have to take. Are you getting the point? Okay, this make sure. Sir, we are finding just to find absolute value of int, ABS is the method. To find absolute value of long, LABS is there. To find absolute value of float, FABS is there. Because two methods with the same name but different argument types is not allowed in C language, right? Are you getting? Because overloading concept is not there. Sir, is it a difficulty to the programmer or not? Just ABS functionality, how many method and names I have to remember is nothing but based on if there is a difference in argument type, a new method name we have to define, or a new method name we have to remember. Complexity of the programming is going to be increased. Are you getting? Lack of overloading in C increases complexity of the programming, right? But luckily in Java we are not having any such type of problem. So we can take here C. So this style is for C related style. But in Java, you know, if you consider Java, same ABS method, you can use for int type, you can use for long type, you can use for float type. Same ABS method we can use for int type, long type, float type. You know, all these methods having the same name but different argument types. Now what is this concept? Overloaded methods. Are you getting? So can you tell now which concept is easy for the programmer? Is it Java related concept or C language related concept? So make sure Java related, because how many method names we have to remember here? Only one method, ABS, irrespective of argument type. But in C language, if there is a change in the argument type, compulsory we should go for new method which increases complexity of the programming. Luckily we have overloading concept in Java. That's why happily you can take multiple methods with the same name but different argument types. So overloading, is it advantage of the programmer or not? Yes, flexibility to the programmer we are getting because of what? Overloading concept, right? Okay, at this point. In C language, in C language, method of overloading concept is not available. In C language, method of overloading concept is not available. Method of overloading concept is not available. Hence, method of overloading concept is not available. Hence, we can't declare. Hence, we can't declare. Hence, we can't declare multiple methods. Hence, we can't declare multiple methods. We can't declare multiple methods with the same name. We can't declare multiple methods with the same name. We can't declare multiple methods with the same name, but different argument types. We can't declare multiple methods with the same name, but different argument types. Different argument types. Different argument types. Next, if there is a change in argument type, if there is a change in argument type, compulsory we should go for new method name. If there is a change in argument type, compulsory we should go for new method name. Which increases complexity of programming. Which increases complexity of programming. Okay, take this example. ABS of int I, ABS of int, LABS of long, ABS of int, LABS of long, FABS of float, FABS of float, FABS of float. Completed, I hope. FABS of float. Clear for all of you, right? Okay, this is next one, next para. But in Java, we can declare multiple methods. Multiple methods with the same name. But in Java we can declare multiple methods with the same name. But different argument types. We can declare multiple methods with the same name, but different argument types. We can declare multiple methods with the same name, but different argument types. Such type of methods are called overloaded methods. Overloaded methods. Okay, add ABS of int I, ABS of long L, ABS of float F. ABS of int I, long L, float F. And what these methods? These methods are called what? Overloaded methods. Better to write. Overloaded methods. Sir, can you tell? Can I use the word having overloading concept in Java? Sir, having overloading concept in Java. So reduces complexity concept. Correct or wrong? Reduces complexity. More flexibility to the programmer. Right? Okay. Add having overloading concept in Java. Having overloading concept in Java. having overloading concept in Java, overloading concept in Java reduces, overloading concept in Java reduces complexity of programming. Having overloading concept in Java reduces complexity of programming, reduces complexity of programming, that's all. Completed, right? So this is what is the basic idea, overloading or overloaded methods. Let me take one small example, and so you people can get some conclusion from this. Here see, sir, I am taking class test. Listen this one, class test. I have one method is there, public M1 method. Sir, M1, public void M1, system.out.println, no arc method, public void M1, no arc method. Next, public public void M1 method, public void M1 method, int I, system.out.println, int arc method, public void M1 of int arc method, right? Similarly, public void M1 of, public void M1 of double D, system.out.println, double arc method, Can you tell total how many methods are there? Three methods are there, but all these methods having same name but different argument types, correct or not? That's why can I use the word these methods are overloaded methods or not? Yes boss, overloaded methods. All these methods having the same name but different argument types. That's why these methods are by default considered as overloaded methods, right? Okay, terminology is that clear. Now the next one, here say, sir, public static void main method string array args, public static void main method string array args. Now my target is, sir, I want to create one test object because I want to call these methods. Test T1 is equal to new test I am taking, or test T is equal to new test. Now T dot M1, so T dot M1, can you tell which method can listen my request? Because this method no arg. Now the output what we are going to get, no arg light. Are you getting? Next one, T dot M1 of 10, which method can get the chance? M1 of 10 int. That's why int method, int arc method, by default we are going to get the chance. T dot M1 of 10.5, which method will get the chance? Double arc method will get the chance. Are you getting? So end of the main method and then end of the class. That's all. Sir, can you explain overloading with an example? Basic idea, basic syntactical things. Then happily you can take this example. Clear for all of you, right? Okay, this. But here one very important conclusion is there. Of course, T, you are calling M1 on T. T is what type? Tester type. And T's reference type is tester. Underlying object is what type? Tester type only. Here same reference, same object I am using, but sometimes parent reference, child object. Are you getting? Sometimes parent reference, child object. But make sure you should aware, in overloading, method resolution always takes care by compiler. Always takes care by who is the person? Compiler, based on reference type. Are you getting? In overloading, method resolution is always takes care by compiler based on reference type. Sir, assume it is the parent, it is the child. Parent and child object. Overloading concept. Then which method is going to get the chance? Parent class method will get the chance. In overloading, method resolution always takes care by compiler based on reference type. That's why method overloading is also considered as compile time polymorphism. Compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism or early binding, because method binding is going to be happen at compile time, at early only. That's why it is also known as compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism or early binding. Is nothing but one important word. But while examples going on, then you will get much clarity about this one. But as of now, just observe the conclusion. Here parent reference, child object, then I can show much clarity. But here both are same type. That's why you may not get much clarity from this, but in the next examples you will get much clarity. Right? First take this example. Take this one. Class test public void m1 SOP of no arg. Next public void m1 of int I SOP of int arg. Next public void m1 of double d SOP of double arg. SOP of double arg. No arg, int arg, double arg. Take clearly. And then public static void main tester t is equal to new tester t dot m1 no arg method, t dot m1 of 10 int arg method, t dot m1 of 10.5, t dot m1 of 10.5 double arg. Take clearly. But here are the comments. These three methods are called overloaded methods. T dot m1, t dot m1 of 10, t dot m1 of 10.5, t dot m1 of 10.5 itself is what? A double arc. I hope completed, right? Double arc method. Okay, so clear. Now at the theory, at the theory, better to keep star for this point. In overloading method resolution, in overloading method resolution always takes care by in overloading method resolution always takes care by compiler. Method resolution always takes care by compiler based on reference type, hence overloading is also considered as compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism, compile time polymorphism or static polymorphism or early binding. Okay, that's all. Sir, method resolution have you observed? Can you please read once again? In overloading method resolution always takes care by method resolution. What is the meaning of method resolution? Sir, which method has to execute? How many M1 methods are there? 3 methods. So parent method, child method, like there are multiple methods. which method has to execute, parent class method or child class method, like maybe a chance. So which method has to execute is nothing but method resolution. Who is the responsible for this activity? Compiler is the responsible. Based on what type? Reference type. We never going to worry about runtime object. Regarding in overloading, who is going to play the role is nothing but what? Reference type. But after few minutes I will talk about overriding. In overriding, method resolution is always based on runtime object. Reference will become dummy. Observe that. I will explain in overriding that. But in overloading, method resolution is always takes care by compiler based on what? Reference type. Clear for all of you? Okay, that's all. So this is what basic idea about what is overloading. There are multiple, almost 5 or 6 cases I will explain. Each case itself is an important example for the interview room, even for the exam also. Okay, that one I will take care in the next session.